Well, I don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
It's just my opinion.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sway. That's right, welcome back to the channel where I give you my absolute honest opinion, and I don't give a damn how you feel about it. And as always, I have my trusty herbal smoke, my trusty Coke, and before I get started, do not forget to hit like, make a comment, hit the subscribe button, press the notification icon so you can be notified of every time that I post a video. Alright everybody, so I know today on November 25th, many are celebrating Thanksgiving. You know, even my family is celebrating Thanksgiving, but me personally, it's something I don't celebrate. I don't celebrate a lot of things, okay? I don't even celebrate my own birthday. It's just another day to me. While I understand a lot of the significance behind Thanksgiving, you know, from the early traditional stories of the Pilgrims and the Native Americans celebrating the first Thanksgiving together and all that. No, I'm not an activist as far, you know, like the way the activists are doing, oh, Thanksgiving, da, da, da. No, it's more just because while I am, you know, I am thankful for a lot of things. You know, I am thankful for a lot of things. I'm thankful for I'm thankful that I wake up every morning. I'm thankful for my kids. I'm thankful for just, you know, a lot of good friends and family around me. I'm thankful that, you know, I have a home that I live in. I'm thankful for, you know, just my basic needs being met. But these are things that I'm thankful for every day of the year. I don't need to take one day out of the year to be thankful for everything. You know what I mean? And, you know, I do understand, and a lot of, you know, Thanksgiving goes even beyond the American tradition. As far as why is it around this time of the year, you know, and a lot of cultures where agriculture is the mainstay, right? You know, where people, they have farms, you know, especially like American farmers too, you know, and farmers all over the world and all of that. It's a celebration. It's a celebration that they had a good crop. You know. It's so, you know, a lot of people can tell you that there's a lot of pagan holiday stuff within this because of the crops and other stuff like that. You know, it's not just about the American traditions that we were taught. Many of us were taught when we were kids. You know, a lot of people make fun of Christians. A lot of people make fun of Christians for taking this day and be like, oh, well, it's not a, well, you know what? Neither is Christmas. Christmas is not a Christian holiday. I'm sorry to my Catholic friends. I'm sorry to tell you, but Christmas is not even a Catholic. It is officially a Catholic holiday. But in reality, it was taken from pagans. It was taken from pagan worship, you know? Jesus was not born December 25th. But, you know, non-Catholic Christians, we celebrate it as a day of being with family and so on and so forth. Just as many non-Catholic Christians will take Thanksgiving and not necessarily celebrate it as a day for the American holiday, but as a day of togetherness with family. So, but my question is how come we're not doing this on a daily basis? How come we are not doing this on a daily basis where we celebrate, back in the day, and it's 2021. A lot of things have changed and at least in a lot of the American culture. But even up to now in 2021, how many families celebrate each other every night at dinner? And yes, I understand. There's a lot of people that, let's say they don't have a family person, relatives, that they can consider family, but they have great friends that they spend time with, that they are family. You see, for me, family is not blood relatives. For me, if I had to break that. I broke that mindset a long time ago, and where family is not just blood relative. I have a lot of blood relatives that I really do not like. You can even say that I hate them. People who I consider family, are beyond the blood relations. You know what I'm saying? While I do have family that are, my blood related family, my parents and, and of course, my daughters and all that, and, all that stuff. I can go down the line. I can go down the line of, what I'm saying? But I have a lot of family that are not related to me, people who have been really great friends to me, that I consider them to be family. And, I said this in a previous video, and where I call everybody brother and sister because, it doesn't matter who you are. I call everybody brother and sister because of the fact that we are one human race. We are all one human race. But there are certain people that when I say brother or sister to, it's a different tone. It's a different bond. It's a different, I guess you could say, intimacy and closeness with them. Where when I call them brother and sister, it's a different feeling, atmosphere, whatever you want to call it. But anyway, so one of the things I wanted to cover for a while, I covered it before, as I've covered it before, but I figured today would be a good day to cover it a little bit even more, and that would be people that deal with pain issues, people that deal with chronic pain issues. It is unfortunate today in 2021 that because of this this war on drugs and all of the opioid epidemic nonsense, that many people cannot get their pain medicine. And many people are, like myself, we are in so much pain. And how can we be thankful? Some of us, how can we be thankful when we're in so much pain? How can we think about anything else but the pain? You know what I mean? Yes, for like a little while, when we see certain people or when we talk to certain people, we can forget about the pain for a minute. But when we're in constant pain, it's in our daily lives. So it's hard for a lot of us to be thankful on a day like today. And unfortunately, there's been a lot of people because of this. Let me take this off for now because I don't need it now. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people today because of this war on drugs, on opioid med, that it is really ridiculous. It is really ridiculous to even that it's happening. That where when their medicine to live everyday life, was taken away, that they were in so much pain that they took their own life. A lot of other people, it was like they they were so desperate to relieve that pain, they started drinking heavily, or they started doing street drugs, things like that, and all because of basically a lie. That's what it was. It was a lie. And the lie was that, that the opioid epidemic of people dying from overdoses was because of prescription medications, and that was not true. That was not true when the majority... Wait, let's put it this way. Back then, when it started, it was because, people were dying from heroin overdoses. They were dying from crack cocaine overdoses. They were dying, these heavy street drugs. It had, maybe one or two people, they might have had, let's say, a pain pill that they might have stolen from somebody. But in reality, it was because it was, it was because of street drugs. So what did they do? Instead of doing something to stop the street drugs distributions and all of that, they took away medicine from people that need it, people that never violated that trust, and people that never violated the law concerning their medication. They took that away from people. And it is a bitch. It is a bitch dealing with it on a daily basis. It is a bitch dealing with it on a daily basis. And it should have never happened. Now, then when they did this, right? Nobody's getting their pain medicine from their doctors. Hardly anybody can get on pain management, because pain management, basically everything became a freaking circus of rules and stuff that people are trying to jump hoops through all over again to get their pain medicine, right? But guess what? The opioid epidemic never ended. The overdoses never ended. And now, on top of people dying from overdoses on heroin and PCP and crack cocaine and all these other drugs, now people are dying from fentanyl, because now they're bringing in fentanyl and they're lacing it in the marijuana dispenser, in the not the dispensary, but in the street marijuana. They're lacing it in other things. People who and then people who are like, they're gonna, it's like the war on guns. If you think about it, it's like the war on guns, right? Yeah, the criminal enterprises, right? The criminal people, they're getting guns from somewhere. They're not getting it legally. They're not getting it legally at all whatsoever. They are not. And you have the government, not the right, but the left. They're like, oh, well, this is the war on guns. We gotta make even stronger gun laws. Well, we already had gun laws, and they're being followed. And every case of freaking, shootings, for the most part, were illegal guns, with the exception of like some of the school shootings, like the Columbines and the one over here at Sandy Hook, here in Connecticut, or even there was one before Columbine with these two young it was in a middle school. I'm trying to remember where it was, but with those exceptions, every shooting, from drive-bys to gang war related shootings and or somebody in a store, like somebody gets robbed in somebody robs a store and then they shoot the clerk or whatever, it's all illegal guns that were not obtained legally by someone who owns a gun legally. So it's like, why punish the law-abiding people for the people who are not doing it lawfully? It's the same thing with when it comes to this opioid epidemic stuff. Why are you punishing the people who are doing it legally, the people who are doing it the right way, the people who are listening to their doctors and not abusing their medication or anything. Why are you taking away their medicine that they need to just live a normal life? You know, nobody wants to live in pain 24/7. Nobody wants to live in constant pain at all whatsoever. And then you have the CDC, the FDA, the DEA, and all this bullshit. You know, it's ridiculous. Now, you know, I've been doing a lot of research on this, on why all of this has happened, and I've been kind of like putting together numbers and reading the stats, reading the paperwork from the DEA, the CDC, so on and so forth, and it's just bullshit. And it's funny because I found this video on YouTube, and I'm going to show it in a little bit. I'm going to show in a little bit of just, you know, how stupid this is. You know, I don't know what else I can tell y'all. It's just stupid. It's ridiculous. It is, you know, yeah, people suffering for what? People suffering for what? All because of some dumb idiots who wanted to overdose on illegal street drugs. It's the same thing when it's the same thing with the bans on the vapes. They're like, oh, vape this, oh, vape is the cause of this. No, it's not the vapes. It is, you know, it is because you have people who are buying vapes illegally from people who are not legal distributors, people who are not getting them legally from reputable companies. No, they're getting them illegally, and these are homemade vape juices, whatever, that has vitamin K and things like that mixed in there. But yet you want to make the businesses suffer. You want to, you know, you know, it's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. And you know, I can do a whole video on the vape stuff altogether. But I want to get into this video really quick. Let me put on my headset now. I want to get into this video really quick so that way we can just get some more details on this. Okay, everybody. So I'm on YouTube. So what I'm going to do, okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to play this video. I'm going to leave the link of this video because I'm not going to play it. It's 17 minutes, so I should be able to play the whole thing. But I'm going to leave the link of the video in the description box below, and so you can see it for yourself. There's a lot more videos out there. There's just a bunch of things. So let's listen to it, and I'll be stopping it here and there to give my take on some stuff.
At this time, we'll call Dr. Thomas Klein, MD, Rare Disease Specialist and Researcher.
All right, so this is a doctor that will be speaking. Okay, let me see if it has. Okay, Dr. Thomas F. Klein, MD, PhD, and he's going to be the first person speaking, and then it's going to be Jonelle Elgaway, who's an advocate, activist, and chronic pain patient. Okay, they were speaking in Washington D.C. for chronic pain patients and doctors about pain medication in front of the congressional staffers on April 25th, 2018. Okay, and she's also, and Jonelle Elgaway is the founder and the host of the Conspiracy Against Wellness. I'm actually subscribed to the channel. So all the link to that channel will be in this video. So like I said, I'll be linking this video in the description box below, so you can check her stuff out. But let's hear him out. Let's hear Dr. Thomas Klein talk about this.
Hi. You can speak from down there if you like.
Yes, I'm a primary care physician. I'm not attached to anything. I don't get money from drug companies. I'm not looking for grants. I just have a primary care practice. And I target people, my patients are people with chronic disease. So I see lots and lots of people with long-term disease. Some need pain medicine, some not. You need to understand that the match that lit this forest fire was the assumption that doctors are prescribing too much medicine and it is leading to more overdose deaths.
Now, I'm going to stop it right there. Remember what he said, okay? None of that is true. None of that is true, and you're going to hear why none of that is true. Okay? You're going to hear why none of that is true. Maybe on some rare occasions, because you've heard of the word pill mills before, but in reality, none of that is true. So, let's hear them out.
That's not true. The reason it's not true is the number of prescriptions we write in the United States is governed by the DEA. The DEA only allows us to write a single prescription and no refills.
And that is extremely true, because I can tell you, when I was receiving pain medicine for my chronic pain and everything that I suffer, right? It was only from my primary care provider at the time. It was only for a certain amount of medication. Okay, depending on what it was that she was giving. If she was giving a lower dose of something, let's say that it was like 30 pills, it was supposed to last me for the month. If it was a higher dose of something of the same medication, then it would be like 25. It would be 25. If it was a pure form of that medication, she was only allowed to give me something like 10, 15. If I remember, it was like 10 or 15, and in that pure form of the medication, I was supposed to take it with, let's say, a Tylenol or an Advil, acetaminophen, which is the active ingredient in Tylenol, or ibuprofen, and which is the active ingredient in the Advil. Now I'm going to say this for the YouTube algorithms, okay? I'm going to say this for the YouTube algorithm. This is not medical advice. 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 This is just me playing a video where a doctor talks about it. This is me commenting on the video that the doctor talks about this. This is not medical advice. This is not medical advice, okay? So this is just me commenting on a video and talking about my experiences, as well as talking about other things, all right? Again, this is not medical advice.
In Canada, if I write a prescription for a pain medicine, I put down refill times 3.
Oh, and that was the other thing that he said. And no, there was no refills. There was, my doctor, my primary care at the time, there was no refills. I can vouch for that. There was no refills. Every month every month she would write it because she knew my situation, but every month I also had to speak with her, and she would go through a list of questions. She would go through everything, because there was so much that she had to do as my primary care provider before she could even write the script for the month. But as he was saying, in Canada, he could have written a certain amount of refills, but here in the United States, no.
That's one prescription. In the US, there's 3. That's why.
So what he was saying is that the CDC, the DEA, and whoever, they were saying that doctors are overprescribing, and that was a lie. Well, because number one, because of the laws and regulations that doctors have had to go through here in the United States, they had to write one prescription a month. Okay, one prescription. There's no refills. So in 1 year, that's 12 prescriptions. That's 12 prescriptions. Okay? And then in Canada, if they were, in Canada, they could do a prescription plus 2 refills, right? Or 3 refills. So that would be 3 to 4 prescriptions
a year
that they would personally have to write. So it's not that they were overprescribing, is that the fact that they were only allowed to write 1 prescription per month, and it had to be a certain amount. They couldn't go over that certain amount.
Why we have more prescriptions written. Period. Now, what about all this death rate? The word, the adjective that's always left off, overdose death. That sounds like what, Marilyn Monroe, overdose death? The adjective that's always left off is street overdose deaths.
Thank you. Okay, and I was saying that earlier. The overdose death that everybody's talking about on the news and whatever concerning the opioid epidemic, it is street overdose death. Okay? Because the overdoses were based on the street drugs. Okay? You follow me? Again, this is not medical advice. This is just information that I'm disseminating, that I'm commenting on, that I am showing, so people get an understanding of what's going on.
These are people dying in the streets. These are not people dying in communities. 95% of people who are dying in the streets are dying from multiple drugs and alcohol.
Okay? Multiple drugs and alcohol. Because a lot of people that are dying, the 95% of the people that are dying in the streets, and they're mixed, and it's not just doing drugs, they're also drinking with the drug of choice.
The CDC takes a person who comes in with an autopsy and they have alcohol, cocaine, and a prescription opiate. Guess what? Those are...
Okay, a prescription opiate. Again, most of the people, that 95% that die, whatever, if only, let's say, a certain amount of people have that prescription opiate, but that prescription opiate was not obtained legally. It was not obtained legally. They probably had a friend. They probably visited the friend. They saw the pills or something, or they stole it. It was not obtained legally.
3 different deaths. So when the CDC reports that there are this many prescription drug deaths, it does not tell you that they were only involved. If a person comes to autopsy and they got 5 drugs in their body, nobody knows what they died from. The CDC just took back its death rates. Everybody knows that, right?
So 2018, right? Early 2018, late 2017, early 2018, the CDC had to really cut back on how many people actually died from overdoses. Why? Because, like they always do, they overhype the numbers. They say, oh, it's really this amount, but in reality it was a smaller amount. Hello, it's happened just again recently with the current situation, and they've had to cut back numbers. Now, they didn't cut them back all the way because the CDC doesn't want to be wrong, but shit, it's not the first time that the CDC has done that.
All right, been cut in half. So what's the impact of the original argument? We write too many prescriptions and we cause too many deaths. Both those statistics are wrong. So what we have is an epidemic of ignorance and fear.
Thank you. And this is happening with the opioid epidemic, and it's happening now with the current situation. An epidemic of ignorance and fear.
In this country, the government and the politicians and the general population are afraid of opium products because it goes back a long way with morals and blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to stop for a minute, and because all you staffers are here, I'm just, a doctor. I'm not trying to pass legislation. I'm just telling you what the story is. And it
Kind of sucks that he wasn't there. He wasn't there to try to pass legislation because we need it.
It is really bad out there. This forest fire has ruined healthcare.
Yes, it has.
There are 6 to 7 million people in this country. That's about 2% of your populations, by the way, in each one of your states, who have no doctor to take care of them for their rare chronic diseases. People who have long-term diseases have rare diseases.
Exactly.
Real diseases. Arachnoiditis, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, complex regional pain disease. These
Complex regional pain disease is pretty much what I would have. Okay, and I'm trying to get it diagnosed. And and you have to really look that up as far as complex regional pain disease. And it can be caused from a bunch of things, from injuries, especially from injuries, and like I said before, I have scoliosis. I've had injuries from my past, from wrestling. I've had, it's so much. So complex regional pain disease would be kind of like the normal thing, but because it is they considered it a rare disease, it's not really looked upon as much. Just like the other ones that he listed.
These are diseases most doctors don't even know about.
And I can vouch for that. A lot of doctors don't know about that. The
doctors have bought into the fact that, oh my God, we're writing too many prescriptions and causing these people to die. We just better back off. So check the logic out, even if their statistics were correct. If I prescribe too many pills to people, how is that affecting people dropping dead in the streets? It's not.
Thank you.
And Janelle is with us today we're both from North Carolina, and she is a pain patient, and I thought if you staffers want to ask questions of either myself from a medical standpoint or Janelle Eljaway from the standpoint of a person with CRPS, what I just said, complex regional pain, shoot, feel free. We're here for you.
Dr. Klein, can you clarify something for me? How is it that the CDC would report deaths from opioid overdose and make 50 mistakes on the reporting, leading to a lie that doctors are responsible for all these deaths when the CDC admitted 2 weeks ago that they didn't tell the truth?
Well, I have no idea.
They reported to blame us. Well, not us.
They said their algorithm was wrong. They got the algorithm wrong.
And I would like these congressional staffers to please take back to your bosses. How is it the CDC can make a 50% mistake in reporting of deaths blamed on doctors for opioid overdoses? You need to investigate that. Clap, come on.
Dr. Myers and Dr. Klein, they actually admitted it in December 29th of 2016, again in 17, and again
50% of the deaths they blame on doctors' prescriptions, they admitted they were in error.
Okay. In case you haven't heard this, okay? The guy from Washington, basically, he admitted, oh shit, 50% of the overdose deaths were blamed on doctors, and that was an error, which is why in reality it was probably bigger than that, definitely bigger than that. But come on now, Yet with all of this information, and the CDC putting on these guidelines, and now the DEA and doctors are, they're being a bunch of assholes and dicks and what have you. Let's just say it's ridiculous. And the young lady, Joanne Eljaway, we'll be talking about it in a little bit.
Okay, when the CDC steps out of line, they are not the regulatory agency to be making any comments about prescription drugs. That's only the FDA. The FDA turned down all of the tenets that the guidelines are based on. Turned them down with their scientific review. The CDC went ahead under the director, Thomas Frieden, who publicly stated that pain pills were nothing more than heroin pills. And I don't know why they did it, but that's why we're here. I think...
Okay, so the governing guideline concerning pain medicines and things like basically everything is the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration. They turned down the regulations and all this, that, and they're like, yeah, no, we're not going to fall for this crap. Okay? But then the CDC comes out and says, well, the debate, because again, they don't want to look bad. CDC, never wants to look bad. So they go on and they say their shit. And again, and I'll say it again for the YouTube algorithms, this is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. This is just information, and I am commenting on it, giving my opinion. This is not medical advice.
One of the finest democratic institutions we have are the congressional hearings. And these people need to go before Congress and explain themselves. Why did you do this? Why are you making up this stuff? There's so much in there. There's so much in there.
And I agree with them. The CDC needs to go in front of the congressional hearing and explain why they're doing this bullshit. And I'm not just talking about when it comes to the medications, the opioid medications and all that. I'm talking about everything else, like with the current situation going on. Shit. It's like they're making up shit, then they kind of like take a step back, and then instead of admitting that they're wrong and they're full of shit, they try to, they double down hard and they keep on.
That's wrong. Why are you stepping out of your regulatory bounds? So anyway, both of us are, Janelle and myself, happy to answer more questions.
At this time, Janelle, would you like to make a statement and let the staffers know your availability as part of
Sure. My name is Janelle Elgaway. I am 40 years old.
Okay, I said it right the first time. Janelle Elgaway. It was the doctor that said it wrong.
And I've dealt with rare and painful diseases for the...
All right, let's go back to the beginning where she started.
My name is Janelle Elgaway. I am 40 years old, and I've dealt with rare and painful diseases for the last 24 years. I've always loved playing sports. I was a huge adrenaline junkie. I won a spot to try out for the Junior Olympics for field hockey. And a week before tryouts, everything was almost taken away. As I drove home from softball practice, I was rear-ended by a truck going 55 miles an hour. I was life-flighted to a hospital and found out I broke my C3, C4 vertebrae. With a lot of hard work and physical therapy, I would go on to recover, and I won a spot on the B squad in the 1996 Olympics. I also won an athletic scholarship to The Ohio State University. After college, I worked for a private law enforcement firm, and I owned a business flipping houses. And then in 2003, I was in another car accident. I was briefly paralyzed in my left arm and hand, and I needed emergency surgery in my neck. I would go on from then until now to have 5 total neck surgeries. I'm fused from my C3 to C7. I have 4 rods in my C6-7, and I had a laminectomy. I have degenerative disc disease, Raynaud's disease, PTSD, complex regional pain syndrome, fibromyalgia, and most recently tachycardia. I cannot have children because of my disabilities. I'm a perfect example of someone that is overall healthy despite my neck issues and my diseases, and how the body reacts to someone with long-term out-of-control pain. 2 years ago, I was lowered off 2/3 of my medications, my pain medication. I was on these medications for 15 years.
She was lucky. She was lucky that they lowered her off of it first. Other people, they didn't get that luck, because people, they were just cut off completely.
I started having blackouts, constant flare-ups, out-of-control pain.
I can understand that because it happens to me too. It happens to me a lot. I would be in so much pain that I'll black out, or these flare-ups or whatever. It happens to me a lot, so I can understand that.
And then I started having tachycardia. I have an internet talk show also, and my health got so bad that I wasn't able to work anymore because I couldn't. My memory was terrible. I was bedridden. I had a heart monitor for 24 hours on, and while I was sleeping at 3 a.m., my heart rate went from 60 to 150. And I could have had a sudden heart attack or stroke. My primary care doctor and my cardiologist both said that I needed to find a way to get my pain under control, but they didn't want to do anything for it. My pain management doctor wanted...
Thank you. Because I went through the same thing. They're like, my current primary care doctor now, they're like, oh, we got to do something to get your pain under control, but she doesn't do a damn thing. With her, after speaking with some people, whatever, is because she's afraid. She's afraid of losing her license. She's afraid of losing her license because of what everything's been done as of late. Since 2016.
To continue with the treatments and medications that were not working. And I consider myself extremely lucky because I was able to find a rare disease specialist, and he decided to put me back on my pain medication.
Here's the problem. I've tried after watching this video, after doing research, whatever, I've tried looking for a rare disease specialist in my state. There's nobody in my state. I would have to go to Rhode Island. But the doctor in Rhode Island is not eligible to give me medications in my state. And then some people are like, well, just move to Rhode Island. Are you going to pay for me to move to Rhode Island? Are you going to pay for me and my family to move to Rhode Island and start fresh and new? No. So, we got to fight. We got to fight for our rights. We got to fight for our rights to be pain free.
That I was previously on. Within 8 weeks, my tachycardia was almost non-existent. My blackouts rarely happen now. My memory is back. I can wake up and be productive again. My flare-ups are less often, and I'm able to keep my pain under control for the most part.
Thank you. She was at least able to get because of her rare disease specialist. She's able to at least get some kind of normalcy in her life.
It still happens, but again, I am one of the lucky ones, which is why I'm here to speak on behalf of the 26 million or so intractable pain patients. I'm here for the patients that have committed suicide. I'm here for the patients that have turned to street drugs and can possibly die because they don't know what's in these drugs.
Thank you.
I'm here for the patients living in pure hell and agony because they have been tapered against their will or completely have taken off their medications, and now they are just miserable.
Thank you. Because it's not just me, okay? My mom's going through this too. My mom's, my mom was cut off, just like I was cut off, just like many other people were cut off, and we're struggling on a daily basis to wake up. We're struggling on a daily basis to try to live a life. As much pain as we're in.
These are the 3 options that the 26 million people will have or are about to have if we don't get help. There are around 110 million chronic pain patients in the United States, and examples of this is like somebody with arthritis or back pain. There are 26 million of us intractable pain patients, like myself, that deal with non-cancerous painful diseases or health issues where shots, therapies, basically everything has been tried, and pain medication is a must.
And I've said this before, like using myself as an example. I've done physical therapy, I've done the cortisone shots, I jumped through the hoops, and the only thing that would work is the pain medication. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that have done the physical therapies, and they've done the cortisone shots, and they've done, they jumped through their hoops and they found, oh shit, this works, I'm okay. And that's fine. Congratulations to those people. I'm happy that they no longer get to live in pain. But then there's people like myself that we've been through all of that, and nothing works. Nothing helps but the medication.
That is able to break this, along with other treatments and medications, to have any hopes of quality of life. Did you know that today 5 to 6 million of these intractable pain patients have been completely taken off their medications or tapered due to the reductions because of the CDC guidelines?
Thank you.
If you're concerned about overdoses and addiction, why focus on patients that have safely taken their medications for years?
Thank you. And that's what I said earlier. Why are you so focused on the people that have been doing it safely, and the people that have been doing it legally and under the doctor's advice? Why have you been focused on them and not the people that were doing it illegally?
I've been on my medications now for 15 plus years. I am not going to overdose, and I'm not going to be an addict.
Thank you.
There is less than 2% of addicts in the United States. This number has not changed in the last 60 years.
2%.
That's under 2 million addicts within the U.S. Did you know that the CDC guidelines were created mainly by addiction specialists? There was not one doctor or specialist on that panel that treated or studied pain management or had dealt with rare diseases or health issues concerning pain.
Thank you. On the panel where that was creating the CDC guidelines, and again, the CDC, they this is not their area. They shouldn't have stepped in, but when they stepped in, they use addiction experts, people coming to addiction. They did not have physicians, pain management specialists, nobody, just the addiction people. And 2% of people addicts, yet CDC decides to do this bullshit, and now all of us, we're either cut off or we were tapered.
So listen up, policymakers. There is nothing we could do about the past, but we can work on the now. If you're concerned about overdoses and addiction, making the CDC guidelines into law, it will not work.
Thank you.
Having the DEA raid doctors' offices and shutting them down and taking away their licenses does not work.
Thank you.
Tapering patients off their meds and lowering them to the CDC guidelines of 90 MME, which is morphine milligram equivalent, does not work.
No.
Your current policies are creating more overdoses.
Thank you.
Your current policies are creating more street drug use.
Thank you.
And your current policies are creating more deaths and suicides.
Exactly.
Patients are not a one-size-fits-all.
Exactly.
If you have a 300-pound Marine and a 110-pound woman and place them both on the same MMEs, that just doesn't make sense.
Thank you.
I have a few suggestions for solutions. Number one, lawmakers, do not create any new laws or policies with data used from the CDC. As Dr. Klein mentioned, we now know that the CDC data is flawed and manipulated.
Thank you.
The CDC recently admitted this, that they inflated the overdose numbers. And
Just like they inflated a bunch of other numbers. Again, this is not medical advice. This is just me showing information. This is me commenting. This is not medical advice.
CDC should be held accountable and Congress should hold a hearing so we can find out what happened and why these numbers occurred even. Number 2, the CDC guidelines should be revoked and instead use the Federation of State Medical Board guidelines.
Thank you. Thank you. CDC guidelines should be revoked.
That was written by doctors and medical boards specializing in pain management.
See, there is a set of guidelines that were written by pain management specialists and doctors that this is what they do. So the CDC guidelines, which were written by people who are not any of this, should not be taken into the equation. And if you do more research on this, you'll know that, you know, every state, you know, is going off of the CDC guidelines when they shouldn't. And the CDC guidelines have admitted that their numbers were inflated, that they were wrong, yet they still use the CDC guidelines. Again, this is not medical advice. 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 This is information that I'm showing, that I'm commenting, that I'm critiquing.
Number 3, doctors should be given reimbursements as a palliative care visit instead of an office visit. Many states now accept this, and doctors need to use the palliative care certificate and exemptions. This will allow doctors to prescribe pain medication over the CDC guidelines of 90 MME.
Thank you.
Centers for Medicare and Medicaid, or the CMS, plan to use the CDC guidelines, which has no scientific studies supporting that the CDC's 90 MME or the CMS's 200 MME levels are dangerous and can cause overdose and addiction for intractable pain patients.
Exactly.
The CDC proposed a scientifically unsupported threshold of opioid abuse risk at 90 MME. Again, there are no studies to support this.
Exactly.
In fact, the FDA scientists did a study finding out that there is no difference of pain between cancer and non-cancerous pain.
Thank you.
Number 4, we could fund programs to help build institutions like what the VA has, and institutions that are being set up all over the world right now to take care of patients properly through multidisciplinary programs. Let's be real about the limitations on alternative therapies. Hardly anyone provides them. Insurance doesn't cover them. There are no treatment plans set up to help patients if taken off their pain medications.
Thank you. Yes, there are alternatives. There are, and I'm just gonna stop that video there. I'm gonna put the link in the description box below. Again, this is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. This is information that I'm giving, and I'm giving you my comments. Okay. Again, this is not medical advice. There are alternative treatments, but they don't work. They don't work. And if they do work, guess what? Insurance doesn't cover it. Like if you're on state, and most people, a lot of people, they're on state. If you're on state insurance, right? If you're on government insurance, it's not covered. It is not covered at all whatsoever. And I've said this before in another thing that, well, why don't you get your marijuana card? So you get medical marijuana. Well, guess what? The marijuana doesn't work for pain for a lot of people. I'm one of them. Marijuana does not work for pain for a lot of people, and I'm one of them. And at the same time, a lot of people, they don't wanna get their medical marijuana card just to be smoking marijuana. No. They want to have their pain medicine that they can just drink. They can 5 minutes later they can go off doing their everyday thing. They can go off and live their life. There's people just don't think when they make comments. There's so much into this, and okay. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be getting surgery. Okay, my operation is next week, December 2nd. Okay, my operation is next week, December 2nd. Tomorrow on Friday, I'm going to basically get the physical done and all that, the pre-operation physical. I'm also getting the COVID test, and all that stuff. But when I was at my surgeon's office, signing the paperwork, crossing the T's, dotting the I's, on everything that's going to be done and so on and so forth. It was, when I go off and I talk to the nurse, because, after I spoke with him, then I talked with the nurse, and she was like, okay, well, we're only going to be giving you a certain amount of pain medicine. And mind you, my surgeon, he knows more about my history than she does. Actually, she doesn't even know my history at all. Let's put it that way. She says, we're only going to give you a certain amount of opioids for pain, but in between that, take a combination of Tylenol and Motrin. This is what she says. Take a combination of Tylenol and Motrin, and it does the exact same thing without the euphoric. So, okay, let me tell you something. I was cut off years ago from my medication. Okay? And I looked up everything. I looked up everything that I could on something that I can do now while I'm waiting to help with the pain. And I've read the articles where it's like, oh, take a Tylenol and an Advil, or acetaminophen and an ibuprofen at the same time. It does the exact same thing without. I'm like, no, the fuck it doesn't. And I've done it. Then I read another one. Take Tylenol and Motrin, or ibuprofen, Advil and a Motrin. It does the exact same thing, but bullshit. So when she said that, I wanted to cuss her out, but I was trying to be polite. I wanted to cuss her out and just be like, no, the fuck it doesn't. But you know what? I kept it cool. I kept it, and whatever. I was, whatever. That was it. Oh, trying to play devil's advocate or whatever. But then you have people, they'll say, oh no, do this and that, and I'm like, look, I've read every article that possible on the combination of a Tylenol with an Advil, a Tylenol with a Motrin, or whatever, a Tylenol with what's the other painkillers? No aspirin, by the way, no aspirin either. You know what I mean? But one of them said Tylenol and an aspirin. I'm like, so I tried, whatever. None of that shit works. None of that shit works. And I don't care how many freaking nurses and whatever says, oh, do this, that, well, because unless they experience the extreme pain that we're under, and then they try, for some people, let's say it works. Let's say for some people it works. I'm not gonna deny that it doesn't work for some people, because some people, they might have pain, they might have a rare disease pain or whatever, but it's not as extreme as other people. Again, this is not a one size fits all. This is not a one size fits all situation. Everybody is different. So for a nurse who doesn't know jack shit about my medical history to try to give me a one size fits all approach is ludicrous. It's crap. It's BS. Again, this is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. This is not medical advice. This is just me commenting, critiquing, and speaking about my experiences, speaking on what's going on. But again, you have people like myself, people like my mother, people, all over this country, who, of the United States of America, who suffer from severe pain on a daily basis, who can't get their medications because of this BS. I'm not watching any more of the video. Who can't get their medications, who can't get any help, nothing. And we are in a holiday where we're supposed to be thankful. We're supposed to be thankful. Thankful for what? Yes, it could be worse. We could be dead. But when you're in pain 24/7, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, it's hard to be thankful for a lot of things. Yes, I'm thankful for my true family. Yes, I'm thankful for my daughters. I'm thankful for things. But when it comes to myself, many people will have that same mindset of, man, what's it worth? It's not worth a damn thing to me because I'm not thankful, because I'm in pain constant 24/7. And then it messes with your mind too from time to time. You know, some people will mess with their mind where they just give up. They give up. And I've given up a few times. I've given up a few times where I just wanted. I was tired, but I was like, you know what? No, I gotta fight. I picked my ass back up and I started fighting. All right, y'all. Look. I got the surgery coming up next week. I don't know when I'll be back. I'm going to try to do a video. Actually, you know what? I'll try to do a video after I get out of surgery. I will see if there's a way, because I'm not staying overnight at the hospital. It's going to be an outpatient thing, thankfully, because I don't like staying in hospitals. But I'm going to try to do a video when I get back home. I'll have my phone on me, so if I all of a sudden I go live on this channel, it's just to give you guys an update how I'm feeling. But that's about it. I'm gonna be out of commission for a while. I'll try to keep bringing you a video. I don't know if it's gonna be a setup like this, or if I'm just gonna be laying down in bed and I'll be, recording with my phone, my camera, or what. I have no idea. I haven't decided any of that yet, but I will be getting back to you at some point. I can't do anything, so if anybody wants to help support me, during my recovery time, all the information, you can buy me a coffee, you can CashApp, VENMO, PayPal, you can go to you can go to the Josue Skits. No, sorry. The Josue Skits shop. Because I also put stuff for Sway, so I'll put a link in some merchandise for the I don't give a damn products. If anything, I haven't decided. But whatever information I have in the description box below, if you want to support me to help me get through this my recovery, that'd be great. I'm gonna be doing a video featuring my artwork, showing everything. If anybody wants to buy any art or whatever, all that information will be in that video. I'm going to try to get printouts done, and so if you want to buy a printout instead of the actual artwork, because artwork can be pretty pricey depending on the size, you know what I mean? But if you want to buy a printout, like a poster or something like that, I'm going to try to get that stuff done as well. There's a lot of things I'm trying to do. We all got to make a living. We all got to do whatever. So if you want to help support me on that, you want to have some cool artwork. I'm actually working on some things, handmade. Other than my art, is some handmade stuff by myself. So if you want to buy that stuff, that'll be cool too. So that you know that it's coming directly from me and not from a print shop. But all the information for right now, for how you can support me, if you can, if you want to and you can. Let's put it this way: if you want to and you can, And if you want to support me, that'd be great. All the information is down below. If you want to support me but you are unable to financially, because let's be real, it's 2021. Many of us are broke as frick, right? Many of us are broke as frick. The best way to support me for free is, if you're not subscribed, to subscribe and to share share my videos with your friends, with your family, people that will like my channel, and get me as many subscribers as possible. I'm trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year, okay? Because it'll be kind of cool, right? Where if I can get 1,000 subscribers, then the super chat stuff can come in. Then we can do a live stream where we can talk about anything and everything. You know what I'm saying? And if you never know who's gonna pop up in my live streams with with whatever topic we'll be talking about, right? So, all right, everybody. Until next time, remember, my name is Sway. I love each and every one of you. Peace.
It's just my opinion.